Good morning, Year 7. I hope that everybody had a successful first week back last week. And I just want to say well done because there was some fantastic perspective drawing outcomes from the majority that uploaded their work. Everybody listened to the instructions very, very well and completed the tasks really carefully. Today we're going to have a look at further developing 1 point perspective drawing and how it is used specifically and broken up when drawing a landscape. First of all, I just wanted to share some of the fantastic outcomes from last week. There's fantastic, carefully drawn landscapes. Some people did a cityscape, some people did a countryside, and you really, really followed the 1 point perspective method. I also really liked some of these different outcomes. Someone did it digitally, and that was fab, and some others decided to go above and beyond and do some extra ones. So well done to everyone. Even though your work might not be here, everyone did a great job. It's very, very difficult to upload every single person's to share, but I will be doing an online gallery video to show your amazing work this term. So please don't feel disheartened if I don't seem to put your work in the PowerPoints. I just get so many submissions as I teach all of Year 7. But you all did a fab job. So moving on this week, don't want to waste too much time on this video. First of all, you need to do the connect from last lesson. So I want you to explain in 2 full sentences what perspective drawing is. Use the terminology from last lesson. For example, the horizon line is, okay, and answer it in full sentences. Moving on to today's lesson then, we had a little look at David Hockney. So British artist David Hockney, you had a look at him last week. Today we're going to look at some of the techniques that he uses in his work. So these are some of his famous paintings, and we're going to focus on this specific painting today. Again, if you want to learn more about Hockney, you can have a look at his profile on the Tate website via this link. So I want you to analyse this image. We haven't done too much analysis in art, but it is really important to analyse art so that we know that you understand it and so that you can begin to take ideas to develop your own art. So this is the first task that you're going to have a look at today after the connect. So I want you to study this picture for a couple of minutes. Just really, really look hard at this image. I want you to decide what mood and feelings can you take from this image. You can discuss the colours. Maybe they impact the mood of the image. You know, is it positive or negative, the mood? What textures can you see in the image? What mark making can you see in the image? The mark making and the textures come hand in hand. So if I was to look at this bit, I would see the clouds are made up of quite rough textures. They're not very neat, they're layered. And last of all, do you like or dislike the image and why? There is no trick answer to that one. It is up to you. Maybe you don't like it, but you need to explain why. Is it the colours? Is it the combinations of colours? I quite like this image, and I like it because it's got uplifting colours that are very positive. It almost makes me feel like I'm a part of the image when I look at it. It makes me feel like I'm outside in the countryside. It's very soothing and calming. The flowers and bright colours make me feel relaxed. There's nothing chaotic about it. I also like the way that Hockney has used different shades of green. It's very vibrant. But I want your opinions on this. So the next thing is I wanted you to think about the different components that make up a landscape. Last week we looked at perspective. This week I want you to start to think about breaking up the landscape as a whole. Because if you break it up before you start drawing, you find you focus on each area in more detail and you don't just rush it. So we've got the sky, I've not labelled on there, but you can label it the sky. The background, which is the stuff just below the sky. The horizon line, obviously we've done that last week. The middle ground is the middle of the piece. And the horizon line is just above the middle ground. And then you've got the foreground. So think about these ideas here when you're drawing. I want you to sketch out a diagram of this in your book and label it. It doesn't have to be neat. You can just literally write where each thing should go. So you can do it something like this. Just do a box and write background, horizon line, midground, foreground. You might want to add sky as well. I just want you to label it so you remember it. Okay, the main activity today. So today we are going to have a look at mark making, because that is something that David Hockney uses very well in his art. That is what makes Hockney's work stand out from a lot of other artists. He really emphasises creating his natural forms items in his landscapes using mark making. So today you're going to have a go at doing 3 different types of mark making: waved lines, crosshatch and wiggled lines. So waved lines are just wiggles, but they're just placed close next to each other. Crosshatch is layering one line over another line in a diagonal pattern. And then wiggled lines, they're lines that fit between each other in like a wiggled kind of pattern, almost like a peacock feather, I think, wiggled together. So you're going to have a go at doing that today. And I'm going to show you in a minute how that should look. And then at the end, you've got your what went well and even better if. So I ran through that really quickly, but this is how it should look in your book. I want the date and title, answer the connect question, answer the demonstrate. I want you to analyse the image of Hockney's work. Then you draw in your diagram with a background to horizon line, midground and foreground. Then I want you to do a little scale to show you practicing these techniques here. So I'm going to show you quickly how you do them. So crosshatch is just draw several lines in one direction, like that, and then in another direction at a diagonal like that. Obviously, if you do them closer together, they're going to create a more detailed perspective. So that is crosshatch. I want you to have a go at that. Waved lines, that is just literally drawing like a bubble wave, like that. Wiggled lines, they're slightly thinner, and they fit closer together, like so. They should fit quite closely, whereas waves can be more spread out. Waved lines work really, really well for drawing the clouds. Wiggled lines often good for drawing things like stems or grass, and it could be drawing a path. And then obviously waved lines could be for drawing sections of roads or elements in the sky or on the horizon. So once you've done that, what I want you to do is have a go at drawing your own. So just one landscape at the bottom of your page, combining all 3 techniques once you've practiced. As you can see, mine's a really, really quick, rough one. Just to show you where I've added them. I've added crosshatch on this pond. I've added some wiggled lines behind my mountain. My sky's got some clouds with some waved lines. Obviously, you're going to spend a lot more time on this. This is just to show you the technique. So I want a really, really lovely landscape drawing. I don't want it coloured in necessarily. If you really want to colour it in colour pencil, you can. Or you can do a second one. But I'd quite like to see this just using a pencil. Obviously, a ruler to draw out your boxes. So you've got connect task, answer last week's question, demonstrate task, analyse David Hockney's artwork using the questions in the PowerPoint. Then to draw out the scale of where each thing should be positioned. Then to test out crosshatch, waved lines and wiggled lines. Then to put those into practice in a small landscape. Then you can do a what went well and even better if for your drawing. That is today's task. Please take care with it. You've done amazing the last couple of weeks, and there's no doubt that this will be a fantastically well done task. So keep up the great work, Year 7. Any questions, please get in touch. Have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye.